So we got Papoose, one of the greatest underground rappers of all time. I call him underground because Papoose was never really mainstream. Real ones know that. But as far as like rap and albums and mixtapes, Papoose is one of the greatest of all times. I am a 31-year-old man, and Papoose has always been relevant since I was a kid. When it comes to them bars, the mixtapes, the projects, the freestyles, Papoose is a Hall of Famer. First ballot, right? So, disclaimer. Before I begin this video, I want y'all to know I am a black man and I interracially date, right? So if that disqualifies me from speaking on this relationship, y'all could just shut the hell up and leave the video. If you're the type that think that, oh, you're a black dude and you date outside the race, you can't talk about black love, all right, got it. Leave the damn video. This video is strictly for the ones that can think outside the box and has an open mind when it comes to these type of situations, especially if we're talking about black love and black men, right? So with no further ado, we're gonna watch this together, right? Let's see what Papoose got to say.
I think the next day or next two went by. She contacted me. Hey, you haven't seen your daughter since New Year's. I said, excuse me? I just seen my daughter yesterday. I just picked her up from school. What are you talking about? She didn't even know that I seen my daughter. You know why? Because she's never there with my daughter. She is never there with my child. And it's crazy that you have the audacity to open your mouth and say that I haven't seen my daughter, not only due to the fact that you didn't allow me to see her, since I finally got tired of your lies, tired of your narcissism and moved on, but the fact that while you was running out here cheating with this lame, not only cheating with this lame, you allowed him to destroy your entire life. You use all you talking this money talk. You use all of your money, and I want y'all to know this because I know a lot of people. I don't want to come across as I'm upset, but you know what? I am upset. You know why I'm upset? Because you mentioned my children. You had the audacity to mention my children.
All right, so I'm not sure if y'all can hear everything because his stuff. This how you know Papoose telling the truth. He ain't did no editing. He ain't did nothing like that. This is just a straight live stream from Papoose. You know, he not really savvy when it come to like the computer. You could just tell, right? But this is manipulation at its finest, right? Remy Ma is definitely holding his child against him, right? And manipulating him and trying to guilt trip him. Black men deal with this all the time from black women, right? I got a cousin that's going through this shit right now. You know what I mean? To be real with you, I'm not just siding with him because he's my cousin. I know how this dude get down. If we're gonna be real with you, my cousin is really a sucker. He's really a sucker, but he loves this woman so much and does everything for this woman. Yet this woman does everything she can to take advantage of that unconditional love that he has for her, and she's manipulating him, right? So Papoose is clear that he's going through the same thing because he loves this woman. The way that he held her down when she was in prison, remarkable, right? But look at what he's going through right now. A lot of black men deal with shit like this from our women. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna skip through real quick to where his audio actually picks up and it's not muffled. We're gonna go from here.
I never come on social media talking about anything. Even when I got stabbed in my back, by the person that I moved mountains for, fought battles, did everything, was super loyal to, I still didn't slander you. I still didn't say nothing. I just kept it moving. But you had the audacity to mention my children. So since you want to mention my children, and that I can't let ride. A lot of people like, yo, Pat, that's not you. Don't entertain it. You know what I'm saying? People see through it. She's bitter. She's miserable. Yeah, that's a fact. But you mentioned my children, and that I'm not letting ride. So with that being said, you abandoned my child for months. For days at a time. Knowing she had to go to school the next day, knowing I had to go to work the next day, since you want to get up on you and say, oh, you don't have a job. Because when I got the executive position at TuneCore initially, knowing I had to go to work the next day, knowing my daughter had to go to school, you stayed out with the lane. You stayed out with the lane. You want to talk, and you stayed out with the lane while your daughter was crying for you, tears. Also, she wanted to talk about all of this money talk and all of this and what I don't got and what I got. Since I met her, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth.
All right, that's going to hurt her. That sentence right there is going to hurt Remy Ma. And let me tell y'all something right now, black men in particular. Stop keeping your mouth closed when shit like this happen. One thing about black women, when they're done with you, or like when they get exposed, the first thing they're going to do is throw you under the bus. Meg Thee Stallion did it, and now Remy Ma's doing it. She literally threw this man under the bus, called him broke, saying he ain't got no job, called him weird, a stalker. And it's like, really? You know what I mean? So, black men, stop being so passive aggressive with these women. Speak your mind. Tell the truth. Because one thing they're going to do, they're going to bash you. They're going to talk shit about you. They're going to try to damage your reputation. So why, as black men, do we have to keep our mouth shut? Why? Papoose literally admitted that he kept his mouth shut and he does not do this social media shit. He admitted to that, right? But now that he's opening up, he's telling everything, and he deserves to do that because Remy Ma did not think twice before she spilled the beans, which allegedly everything she's saying is a lie and it's fabricated bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So as black men, stop being so passive aggressive and stand on business. You know what I mean? Tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
And with me saying that, I want to say this to y'all. Anyone who has an iPhone, you know how iPhones work. When I was younger, I used to be able to write rhymes in my head, create rhymes in my head, and remember them. Just like that. As time went on, I got a little older, I started to write rhymes in my email draft. Now, if you have an iPhone, you go in your email draft. If anybody come around me and we're in the flesh next to each other, I can type in any word from one of her songs and her entire rap will come up. The entire verse will come up. I never asked for a penny. I never asked for credit. She was my wife. I didn't want anything from her. I just wanted to see her win. Like I said, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth since I met her. Y'all said it. Y'all said it numerous times. Oh, we know that's Pep behind that pen. Did I ever agree with y'all? Did I ever put it out there? I never said I wrote her rhymes. I left it. I didn't need the credit. All I wanted her to do was win. Wrote the rhymes, did the contracts, security, the whole shit. So you fabricating these stories, and it's very weird that you're talking all of this money talk, but in your background, it's everything that I bought.
Shit like that. And that's why I say, see, black men like Papoose, they love hard. I think black men in general love hard. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad seeing him go through this. Now, we don't know everything about Papoose, right? All we know is what we see. So to say that Papoose never cheated on this woman, we will never know that. But based off what we know from Papoose and based off what he says and how he carries himself, only one can assume that he held her down, right? When that is a confirmed fact that Papoose held down Remy Ma when she was in prison. That is a confirmed fact. So whether he was cheating or not, who really gives a shit? In my opinion, right? Because he held that woman down when she was at her lowest. Facts. Behind the wall. You know what I mean? So here's my question for y'all. Now that Papoose went through this horrible experience with Remy Ma, what if Papoose winded up messing with a Mexican or even a white woman, right? But see, Papoose made it clear that he wants to stay inside the race. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you look at what Papoose dealt with Remy Ma, would he be the bad guy if he decided to date outside his race? Because you got a lot of black men that go through things like this just one time. One traumatizing event with a black woman, and they're done forever. They're done forever. They Mexican, Puerto Rican. Because you got some black men that just won't date white at all, but they will go Puerto Rican, Mexican, shit, even Korean, right? As long as she's not a white woman, right? But if Papoose decided to just stop messing with black women after this situation with Remy Ma, would he be justified? Would he be justified?
All of the utilities are in my name.
We only gonna watch this for a few more minutes and I'm gonna wrap it up.
So all of this fabrication about, oh, he don't pay no bills, oh, he don't do this, he don't do that. If you analyze her life, the whole thing is about all of this money talk. Why? Because she wants y'all to think that she's this big shot. I don't need to come up here and perpetrate no fraud like I'm a big shot, like I'm this and I'm that. For the simple fact that I speak with my actions. You want to talk about black love? Anybody who follow me, they know I've always been pro-black and had knowledge of self since I was a teenager. So I've represented that since I came in the door before I even knew you. Okay? So don't ever talk about black love and what else she said? I gotta remember. So, first and foremost, very bipolar, very delusional. This is a person who will sit in front of you. She will post that live and she'll say later, I didn't do that. I wasn't on live. You'll be sitting there like, huh? She will say something to you and 10 minutes later say, I never said that. Very bipolar. And I don't want to talk bad about her, man.
That's not bipolar. That's her being devious. That's her being manipulative. That is not bipolar. That is not bipolar at all, Pap. You know what I mean? That is her being what she is. A liar, a devious, mischievous liar. You know what I'm saying? Bipolar is a personality disorder. You know what I mean? So if you just tell a lie, that doesn't make you bipolar. It just makes you a liar. You know what I'm saying? Bipolar is a completely different switch of a characteristic or a personality. Like you're just somebody else at that point. You know what I mean? Remy Ma is nothing but a liar.
That's something that I never wanted to do. That's why when this took place, when she first got caught cheating with the lane, I brought it to her attention. I said, first of all, I couldn't even believe that she was stooped that low because he's such a cornball. Y'all see it, y'all say it yourself. I'm like, yo, there's no way it's this nigga. Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, damn, who is this nigga? Because, we were living a normal, peaceful life, raising our child like we planned to, and she started to move real strange. So in the process of her moving strange, it became stranger and stranger, worse and worse. So I said, damn, I got to see what's going on. What the hell is going on? I started to do my research. As I did my research, I found out she was cheating with the lane.
If Papoose, and shout out to Papoose for not crashing out. If Papoose was to crash out, he would have lost everything he worked for over a woman that is not worth it. Like Papoose, as a man, I commend you for not crashing out. Because you got to think about what Pap did. Held her down in prison, did everything, uplifted her, praised her, supported her 100%. And she turns around and does this. And after she gets caught doing it, there is no type of accountability. All she decided to do was just go at Papoose. So you're mad at Papoose for catching your stupid ass in a lie, right? That will cause a man to crash out. When a man that really loved you catches you in some bullshit, and besides you being accountable, now you start going at him and you target him, that's bullshit.
So once I find out, I brings it to her attention. I said, mind you, I didn't knock him out because he slept with my wife. Like I told y'all before, the reason I knocked him out was because he shook my hand and then slept with my wife. It's a difference. But let me tell y'all this. So I bring it to her attention that I found out that she's sleeping with the lane. She tells me, him? Why him? Why him out of all people? Not Goods? Not Hitman? My word is my bond is my life. I should give my life before my word shall fail. This was her exact words. Him? Why would I deal with him? I said, Rem, I know you're dealing with the lane. I know it. First and foremost, how I first fell on my radar that she was cheating with the nigga, he was running his mouth and it came back to me. They said, yo, Pat, this nigga out here telling niggas he fucking your wife. I said, word. So I did a little bit more research, connect a couple more dots. I finds out. She tells me this. Okay, I finds out. Mind you, it's not the first time she cheated. You know what I mean? I continued the marriage because I live by my wedding vow. I try to live by my wedding vows.
That's where you messed up at, Pap. I'm about to end the video in a couple of minutes. Y'all can finish. Just type it in, Papoose on YouTube. The whole video gonna pop up. I just wanted to give my quick analysis on this, but Pap, that's where you messed up. That's when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Do not ignore any red flags. Don't do that. Don't do that, because when shit hit the fan, the signs were probably already there, but you decided to ignore them. Don't do that. So that's where Pap messed up. You know what I'm saying? But look, shout out to Papoose. I might do a part 2 of this video, but hey, Papoose is winning, right? If you want to go there, who's winning, who's losing? Pap is winning right now, right? The Clarissa Shields, which I don't really care for Clarissa Shields. I think she talked too much shit. I don't really like her like that. But respectfully, she is one of the greatest boxers of all time, right? Successful woman. Really like Pap. They clearly like each other. They holding each other down. So Pap is in a successful relationship right now. And Remy Ma, who knows? Who knows what she got going on? So right now, Pap is up. Pap is up, right? But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy TJ the Realist. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. New videos coming soon, man.